Could you say a few words about how Charles develops in this film comparing to the previous installments of the franchise?
He's, we deconstruct him really. We had to change him in First Class. We made him much less selfless and much more self-concerned and conceited and caddish, and he's still essentially a good guy. He's not a bad guy in this one, but he is a mess. He's an absolute state. He's fallen to pieces, and he is distressed and angry and frustrated and really floundering. And he's terrified of the world, and he's terrified of who he is and terrified of his power. And he's hurt, he's hurt. He's been abandoned by effectively his sister. He's been paralysed from the waist down, and he's been abandoned by his best friend. And he's had his world view challenged and beaten, and left on a beach to probably die. So, he's got a lot to deal with.
Congratulations on getting the Empire Award last night. And I was wondering, working on a film like Filth, would you find it more challenging to work on a small scale production or bigger film like this?
I think smaller scale productions with more heavier characters can be more effort, but artistically they can sometimes be easier. Making X-Men was long and hard work for everybody, but as an actor you get more downtime between setups and between special effect rigs and stunts, and because that all takes so much more time. So physically they can strangely be a little bit easier, the big films, I think. But artistically they can be harder as well, because you are having to negotiate stunts and CGI and digital work and green screen and blue screen and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes in the bigger films, we're lucky with X-Men, but sometimes in the bigger films the scripts just aren't as good as well, so it's harder to do all that CGI blue green screen stuff.
Did you still do a lot of stunts yourself?
Well, Charles doesn't do that many stunts generally, so yeah, I did do most of my stunts myself, but there just weren't that many to do.
You didn't break your forehead by pressing.
Exactly. I'm very tough on my forehead in this film. Although I do start to use my power without doing that in this film. So
I have to say, you played a Russian character in The Last Station very convincingly, and you worked with a Russian director, Timur Bekmambetov, and I'm wondering, are there any talks about making Wanted 2?
They've talked about it a lot, actually. I've had a couple of versions of a script thrown my way. I don't think Universal have been excited about any of the stories that have kind of come their way yet. And, they're doing the right thing. They should only do that if they really feel strongly about it. The other thing as well, it's an R-rated movie, so it's a bigger risk, because you make less money on R-rated movies than you do for PG or PG-13 or 15s or anything like that. So there's a bigger risk. You need to go in with an exceptionally strong script, which is what we had the first one. We had a really strong point of view and a really sort of fun idea. So yeah, that stalled them on that. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but if they do it, they'll be waiting for the right idea and the right timing.
I'm wondering, after making X-Men, how did your fan base change? Did you get more children coming for autographs in the streets?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, yeah, but no, it's never bad. It's never invasive or anything like that.
Maybe you could do another Narnia.
Yeah. Well, Narnia, I look so unlike myself anyway that quite often people are like, hey, look, darling, that's Mr. Tumnus, and the kid's like, no, it's not. So yeah, it's easy peasy for me.